Alright guys, Kremp again today. Hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far. CDL versus Warzone drama is officially back in business last night. A $20,000 tournament going down. Shotzzy, Shifty, Dashy, Drazah all getting involved in some of the drama last night. Kenny as well, just a couple of weeks after calling out some of the Warzone guys. Definitely doubles down on that opinion. Lots else to discuss today as well with Black Ops 6 just around the corner. Very much interested in your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. I'd greatly appreciate it. First of all, as we talked about last night, there have been further rumours overnight that yes, this OpTic Halo team, this OpTic Halo super team, this roster that FormaL is trying to build is effectively a done deal now. Or at least is getting ever closer to completion. We're nigh on certain that Renegade from FaZe is going to join FormaL on the OpTic Halo team for next season, assuming that it is going to be under OpTic, which only really makes sense because one of the only reasons why if you are the world champions you would break up is because you get the opportunity, I would say, to go and play for OpTic. Now, it's not exactly clear exactly which players they're targeting from Space Station. As we said yesterday, Bound and Legend seem the most likely alongside FormaL and Renegade, but that may not be fully the case. But FormaL makes it pretty clear what's going on yesterday because, you know, he loads up some matchmaking here with Renegade. So, yeah, kind of a no-brainer. Trippy, Lucid, Dead Zone, gone from the OpTic Halo team. FormaL is going to try this new roster to seemingly try and win everything in Halo for next season because FormaL, as we said the other day, definitely didn't want to go out on all those second places in a row. Like, there was nothing he would have disliked, I imagine, in his career more than retiring then after all those second places. You know, he talked about it mid-season, right, that he was considering retiring. This might be his last year in Halo, but I feel like going out like that was just not on FormaL's radar. So, you know, he was making the conversations happen to change things around rather dramatically. Dashy's very excited with Black Ops 6, understandably. Of course, he's been very good at every Black Ops game that he's played competitively. It's not actually been that many, has it? It's kind of crazy, right? Dashy's first ever title was Infinite Warfare, competitively at least. He played right at the end of that game. Then, of course, we've had Black Ops 4 since then, title. We've had Black Ops Cold War since then. Dashy, very much arguably the best player in Black Ops 4, of course, with the Maddox, the Tempest, right? Good times. And then Black Ops Cold War was a great year for Dashy individually, but of course the team didn't have all that much success. But Dashy's excited to try and run it back-to-back, of course, won the World Championship last year, maybe you can do so again. There was this on the Rostermania side spotted last night though. Do you guys think there's anything in this? I know that Ronnie said that basically Boston are doing some sort of media day today, so he might have tweeted this so that they can get some sort of content Boston for the media day. I mean, surely you could just like Photoshop it or something rather than actually having to tweet it and then delete it. I don't know. But Snoopy tweeted this out. Free agent for challenges, hit me up, ready to get to work, he says. And then it was deleted shortly afterwards. So the theory, of course, goes that he's going to be on that Boston team, but this does make things a little bit interesting. The Boston roster of Cammy, Awakening, Purge, and Snoopy. They went to the World Cup. They were probably like the most practiced team at the World Cup, certainly right up there, right? Because most rosters, either they blew it up before champs and they actually practiced, as was the case with Boston because they didn't make it, of course, to the World Championship, or if they did make champs, no one really practiced in those intervening weeks, right? Apart from the teams that had actually formed a brand new roster that needed to get the scrims in. That applied to Boston, that applied to teams like the Ravens, so there was some expectation those teams would do a bit better than average, and Boston looked pretty decent, I would say, at the World Cup, but the question is, when the season really begins, is that going to be replicated? This year is kind of make or break for Snoopy, really. Like, Boston, of course, have stuck by him for the most recent season. All the roster changes they made, none of which included Snoopy. If it doesn't work out this year, especially, you know, with Purge there as well, because we had the question last year, if you're bringing in some of these veteran leaders, and, you know, Slasher, obviously they brought in Major Maniac at the end of the year, and they're not really helping get the best out of Snoopy's talents, then, you know, because Slasher was talking about the fact that Snoopy didn't know the spawns, forgetting search and destroy strats, like stuff like this, and, you know, maybe it's just not possible to make Snoopy into the type of player that Boston will need him to be, but they know that he's got the talent, and the talent is very evident, so they're going to keep trying, but this this year is the make or break year, and, you know, a Cammy, Awakening, Purge, the trio to get the best out of Snoopy, I think you can have a question on that. But more than likely, to our understanding, he's not going to be going anywhere from that Boston team anytime soon. There was this I thought was kind of cool as well. So we know that Hitch has been running all sorts of tournaments, online tournaments, LAN tournaments over the last several years, and he's putting together like an official entity around it, Icons GG. So great to hear, great to see about, and you know, hoping it works out the best for Hitch, and technically they can be the ones running the OpTic Legacy matches or whatever in the future, hopefully on a different game, because Black Ops 2 is rather one-sided. Speaking of OpTic, I did think this was very entertaining, and intrigued to your thoughts on this. So the Call of Duty like league, I guess, or like Activision, COD itself, tweeted this out. We know that Prestige is back, right? Road to Prestige Master is a thing again. We have the Prestiges. You get to level 55, you Prestige, you get your new logo, you go back to scratch and you work it up again, which is, you know, I don't know why it ever went away. It is what it is. But Race to Prestige Master is officially back in business this year, and we know that OpTic are getting involved. Scump, Hitch, some of the TST guys, they've got room for a guest to come on as well. I think Zinni's getting involved, right? So it's going to be a good time. Whether they're going to win, we know that Scump has said, like, we're not going to take it, like, 100% seriously. Doom Clan, I'm sure, are going to go for the win. Again, they're somewhat notable. But when officially Call of Duty tweet out the Race to Prestige Master, they feature certain teams that are going to try and do it. Of course, featuring Doom, Hard Stuck, Iridescent. Obviously, you know, I know of Legion, right, from back in the day, and you know, some other names I recognise here, but not that many, right? And you might think, well, where's OpTic, right? Where's Scump? Because they would be like the biggest name and will have the most viewers doing this Race to Prestige Master, but yet Call of Duty is forgetting they exist over some of these channels that I've never heard of, respectfully, on their official graphic. It does seem like a holdover from the Scump Hex lawsuit, right? And I think this whole situation and dynamic is so interesting. We're not really sure what happened with that. If you guys aren't aware, the, you know, however many $1 million lawsuit that Hex and Scump brought against Activision and the league, and it seems like that went to arbitration, and therefore potentially they already settled. It's kind of unclear whether it's still in arbitration or whether they settled out of court on some sort of number to, you know, to get Scump and Hex to be happy to walk away. I don't really know. But the reality is that ever since then, things have been a little bit strange between Scump and the league, and understandably so. But of course, he's still doing the watch parties. He still has permission to do that. The league needs to let him do that, because otherwise they would lose so many viewers that it would look terrible for their numbers, and they wouldn't be able to sell those numbers to the YouTube deal at the end of the day. So they need Scump around, but yet they continue to pretend that he doesn't exist somehow, probably because of that lawsuit drama. It's very interesting, and I don't know if this is going to come to an end anytime soon, to be honest. But let's talk about some of this drama, though, from yesterday. We saw the other day that Spinner Spence was putting on some sort of tournament with league players. Maybe this is what it was going to be, and there were all sorts getting involved in this, but it was a $20,000 Warzone Total Frenzy Captain's Challenge is what it was called yesterday. Not especially well advertised, really. It kind of came out of nowhere. Certainly when there's 20k on the line. And it does make me wonder, right? I mean, like 20k is a pretty substantial prize pool for Activision just to throw in for a tournament like this. Like, that money could surely go a long way. Now, it's not like this is a bad tournament. It was interesting, entertaining. We're going to talk about it today. But I just feel like often the marketing spends of Activision just doesn't make much sense. Like, they'll put money into these tournaments, and yet they won't want to fund, like, you know, an actual CDL event, or, like, the marketing budget. I don't really understand why it's spent where it is, and the decisions that are made confused me a bit. But like, at the end of the day, 20k is going to be enough to get some pro players interested to play, even if it is still Modern Warfare 3, of course, a game that they have played to death over the last several months and are finally going to be rid of over the next couple of days. But yeah, Shotzzy in flow state, and he was on the same team as Shifty TV. Of course, a bit of drama around Shifty as an individual, because he wins the World Series of Warzone, he won the Esports World Cup for Warzone, and he was making comments about potentially making a move over to the Call of Duty League, right, trying to get a spot in the CDL, saying if the bag is right, I'm going to do it. We know that Dashy, Kenny, among others, have taken the mick out of the Shifty guy over the last couple of years for exactly those type of comments, saying that, oh, well, you know, probably going to get an offer in the CDL, I'm going to try and make it work. I think even Shifty has said, oh, I'll play challenges this year and all this, or like, I'm looking for a team. Now, whether that's just impression farming, whether he really is intending to do that, because, look, let's be honest, if I was Shifty, I'd keep on doing what I'm doing, winning all this cash in Warzone, why not? But then again, there are some people that think, and understandably, you know, competitive Warzone isn't the highest level, it isn't the highest form of competitive Call of Duty. Why not make the transition to, you know, the CDL if you can, more prestigious? Obviously, Shifty's already achieved everything that he can elsewhere. So, look, does he have the talent? Does he have the name, reputation, and value to get at least considered by a CDL team? Sure, I think that's possibly true. And, well, he was trying to prove it to some extent last night. So, of course, we've seen a couple of clips over the last few minutes. And then he tweeted this outright. So, CDL, question mark, he says. And he puts a couple of screenshots up of scoreboards. This, of course, was one of them that we just saw there on the Rio. Shifty 30 and 15. So, his team was Shifty, Hisoka, of course, his Warzone partner, Laura Bear from Cloud9, and then Shotzzy. So that was the team of 4. Rated, Evil, Hook, and Armand on the other side. So, of course, Rated, former COD Pro, now involved in the Warzone side. Armand as well on the Warzone side. And then Hook is there as well, of course, actual Call of Duty World Champion. So, yeah, interesting team. Look, there's obviously some CDL representation here, but mostly not CDL representation. And the other screenshot was this one from a 6-star hardpoint, where, as you guys can see, Shifty was 28 in 23, 2.5 minutes in the hill. Shotzzy had more kills, and again, it was the same teams playing against each other, and a relatively comfortable victory for Shifty's team. So, yeah, that was his statement. CDL question mark, maybe it's time to move over. And of course, we get, you know, from Dashy in the replies, good soaks out of the kids. It's really funny how it works out, right? Because, of course, Dashy was the man, and I'm sure that Dashy on some level still thinks, damn, this guy, like, he's still yapping on about how he's going to get into the league. There's no way. But it says, oh, you know, fair play. Got the hill time. 2 minutes in hill. 2.5 minutes in hill. I'll commend it, given that that was kind of Dashy's role in many respects on the OpTic team this most recent season. And then Drazah, though, he has a slightly different approach. He says, look, who you playing against, right? Like, who are these cats on the other side of the stage? And sure, some of them former pros, rated. Hook, for example. Hook's going to be in challenges this year. But Drazah ain't that impressed. And he says, look who you're playing. And Shifty goes, shall we day one? And Drazah's like, I'd bust at the opportunity to do exactly that. So we'll see. Day one is in a couple of days. The game comes out this Friday. Are we going to get any CDL Warzone stuff? If we are going to get CDL versus Warzone stuff, now is the time to do it when the game has just launched, because nobody knows the game. The pros haven't grinded the game for weeks, months, years at that point. So if there's ever a level playing field to play a 4 versus 4 hardpoint between some CDL pros and some Warzone pros, now would, you know, that would be the best chance to do it. So we'll see if that happens. I somewhat doubt it, but time will tell. And they went on to win the tournament, right? So this hardpoint only Warzone total friendly hashtag champs with Shotzzy, Shifty TV, and Blaz, who I imagine was playing on Laura Bear's account. She does socials for Cloud9, but yeah, it seems like Blaz was making the hay there. $10,000, I guess, they won for winning the tournament. Shotzzy hits the retweet, and Kenny then kind of replies to this whole saga again, probably having read these tweets on the timeline, and says, bro, just put the fries in the bag. So we've seen Kenny tweet this before about some of the Warzone kids saying, look guys, let's stop pretending that you can actually compete on this level. You know, when you're tweeting about, oh, maybe I could be in the CDL, it's not real matches, it's not real tournaments, but you know, the money is real at the end of the day, that it's going to hit the bank account. But look, will Shifty TV ever actually take it more serious? I don't know. He seems to have good confidence in himself, and I'd like to see a good chow between Shifty and some of these other pros. See how it would go. And it might go especially well for one party or the other. We'll see. One final thing to say before we close out the video. Clay has an announcement coming this evening at 6 PM UK time, 1 PM Eastern. So, well, we'll talk about whatever it is, if it's a big deal, later on today. It may well be, given some of the rumours and the speculation in the CDL scene over the last couple of weeks. But very much interested your thoughts as ever on all of this stuff in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. Take care. And I'll see you next time.
Watch my back, back. Alright, middle, they're both on our side, Hold in and like P2.
So I could just pour.
Oh, I'm just kidding. They're like both nest, right? They're both nest side.
Soka's are close to our side. Shotzzy on left, one shot.
Deep left. Hold.
Oh. What?
One shot.
Push up. Dude.
No. Nice! Buddy.
I'm getting fucking put in the blender right now.
Both here.
That's gotta be close, bro. One shot behind. Charlie.
Oh my god.
This guy's in flow.
Both on hill.
Hi, Rover. No, I don't.
One A.
What the fuck? How'd you?